Okay. All right, there we go.
Right.
And then I just need a little bit of help on this link that Duncan sent. If I copy
I've got it. I've
you've
got it copied.
Okay. I've copied it, but I don't know where to go. I'm afraid of
No. I've got it.
exiting out.
I have it copied, Pam. And
Okay,
it'll go in minutes.
thank you. Great, okay. And Larry, you were talking, but you were muted, so.
Oh, I was muted. I was just saying that I went to the link and I bookmarked it. So I've already done that. Yes.
Okay. You
It's
guys
just
have-
a form you fill out and then you personalize your letter and click submit and it's done. Yeah.
Okay,
I like that easy.
so,
Yeah.
yeah. So Amy, I appreciate your thoughtful deferral saying that you would find the appropriate contact person, but I would love it if you would, since you already have a relationship with Duncan, if you wouldn't mind continuing to, I know you've got a lot on your plate. You've just jumped into all sorts of things at First Plymouth, but if you could be our liaison to 350 Colorado, I think we all would really appreciate that.
I would be happy to do that. I just started on their legislative committee. I was on the regulation committee and it was too intense. I just couldn't keep up with everything they were doing, less work. So I'm happy. And I guess one question I'd have, and if you want, I can put together a little email talking a little more about the CLCC.
Mhm.
And then and I don't know the best way to do this, you can tell me, but a little bit of the information and then inviting me if people want to be on the email list. I think if we go through Duncan, we're gonna not have to go through paperwork, but I can find out more about what it would mean to join as an organization. And I'll just send it to you, Jan and Pam, and then you can decide how you wanna disperse it, but I will go ahead and put that on my to-do list for this week so that we can follow up on that however you want to do that. So, okay, yeah, happy to do that. I'll follow up with Duncan and let him know. And then
Good.
I'll go on that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Amy, are you in a greenhouse?
I am in a greenhouse background.
So
I'm
cool.
actually at my desk in my bedroom because both my husband and I are working from home. So yeah, you don't want to see the unfolded laundry.
So we've got Amy in the greenhouse and Larry's in the stars. Larry's in outer space.
I'm in space. I'm orbiting the Earth. I could get farther out if you wish, but anyway, yeah. So
Okay. Good.
oh, that's
Good.
this right there. That's the aurora borealis, and you can see that in Minnesota now because we've had a coronal mass ejection yesterday. So
Ooh,
yeah.
wow.
Very nice.
Cool. Okay, well, I'm going to go through the agenda here. There are a few things from mission team that I think Amy was there too, so catch me if I miss something. The WISE group is not WISE group, Outreach is going to be doing an angel tree this year, but it will all be virtual. And it will be going to an organization called Integrated Family Community. And all gifts will be purchased by the end of November online, and then they will disperse them to the appropriate recipient. So we'll be hearing more information about that. I guess the thing is that the deadline is that we really need to purchase them by the end of November because sounds like stock is low, and if we're depending on mail and delivery, it needs to be done that early. And then, well, and Amy could speak to this. Amy has taken a large role in WISE, and she is able to offer something called mental health first aid. And so she was asking about the appropriate way to offer that. Let me just turn it back to you, Amy, and if you could just briefly tell our group what you're hoping to offer.
So mental health first aid is a national, well, it's actually an international program. um, in most English-speaking countries. And it's kind of like CPR, but it's for mental health issues. How do you help maybe identify and then support somebody as a non-expert, just as good-hearted people, when we meet somebody that might be struggling? And it helps us figure out what are some of the signs and symptoms. How do we maybe approach somebody just as an everyday person when we think that they might be struggling a little bit? And what are the community resources that we can turn someone to? Because just like with CPR, it's not about us fixing it. It's about us supporting somebody when they need professional help in connecting with that. So it's about an 8-hour program. I'm offering it because Jenny reached out to the FPY's team and talked about the security team and some other groups that were interested in finding out maybe how to have a more proactive, less reactive response to when people come to the congregation who might look a little different, might act a little bit differently. So we can react maybe not out of fear, but out of the sense of, yeah, we got this. We know together how to do this. So I don't know exactly when we're going to be offering it. It was just a request that went out and through mission team. And so I'm donating a couple of trainings. And then there's a cost, but the church is going to cover that. And so I think what I'm going to do is I'm waiting for Jenny and the staff to decide like when they want to do it. But if you're interested, you can email me, or you can just email FPYs at, I don't know what the address is for First Plymouth, but I'll put my email in the chat.
Yeah.
And I'm in your directory now, but here it is. Petray@gmail. Oops. And I'm happy to answer questions about it. I guess one of the things that relates to the work of climate justice could be that there is grief around what's happening through climate change, particularly younger adults, and even activists that have been doing this a while. Mental health first aid is not the solution for that necessarily. It's just some training, but that may be something that grows as a need as we see the impact on our planet. And that just gives everybody some vocabulary and skills. And I know one thing I've talked about with Duncan is they are interested in seeing if there's kind of some interfaith ways, particularly to support some of the younger climate activists at 350 who are grieving. They've been doing this work for a while and bad stuff is still happening. I was going to try to connect them to Peter and Allison Sawtell because I just think they're just such amazing people to see.
I can help you do that. They're really involving the whole conference now in a conversation. They had their first meeting last month, and I think a second one is planned soon. I'm sure they would love to be in touch with you.
Peter was actually my guide through ordination, so I know he knows. So I was going to reach out, but I'm just putting that in context. Those are some of the conversations that are happening around climate action and how do you not have burnout and how do you not fall into despair. So
That's
a
excellent.
little bit more maybe you wanted, but that's mental health first aid. My email is there. You can also put my email in the minutes. And if you're interested in learning more, let me know and I can send you a little flyer, but we don't have any training set yet. We're trying to figure out, and then I think FPYs is going to do an application to the foundation so that it's free or low cost to absolutely everybody. So youth can take it, whoever wants to join and take it can take it. Any questions? All right.
Thank you for sharing your expertise, Amy. That's going to be very helpful.
Sure.
Well, just a couple of other things from Mission Team. Jenny reported that they're working on a new member process that will mostly be online with a newcomer's coffee, and they're moving away from these long classes that they used to have. So we'll be hearing more about that. And then Rush and Rita and Heidi, plus Steve and Liz and Phil, have been on a leadership task force. And they've come up with some very specific suggestions on how to support leadership development. They identified that some of the weaknesses that we have right now are that we have a small number of people serving as leaders, which we know. We have an aging congregation. During COVID, there was no way to really express an interest in joining a group. And it's unclear on how decisions are made. And our bylaws say that we are to serve for only 2 years, so we are in violation of our bylaws. So they are suggesting having a leadership orientation every year. And Jenny said she's had experience in the past about doing this around a soup and salad meal where people are really eager to come and participate. There's a lot of dialogue and people go to different groups. And so that is envisioned to be coming sometime soon. It'll be probably a 90 to 120 minute orientation for leaders. And there'll be some information on training on how to lead. And staff is going to be able to help us with the technology and the logistics of it all. And I'm missing a couple of other points there that the training will include, but we'll be hearing more about it. So let's see. Next on the agenda, Bruce was not able to be here, but for those of you who were at the e-waste event, maybe you can supplement what I just copied from an email that he sent me. He said the rough counting of receipts came to $10,000, which is great, a really good, good result. It's down $3,000 from last year, but last year was just an incredibly unusual year. He said the final amounts are not in. We still need to pay MetTech, so that's not our profit, but we should be able to have pretty good amount of money to go to the Green Energy Fund. He said that he's now storing the signs in the shed for future years. He highly recommends staying with MetTech. He said they are very good to work with, good company because they're certified. And the only suggestion for next year would be to maybe see if we could find a way to do credit card payment. Said quite a few people came through and we lost their business because we couldn't do credit cards. And apparently we do have the capacity to do it because when we did World Gift Market, maybe just set us up with iPads, and it is possible to do it. So that's something that we'll look into for next year. Just more on information. Our next speaker will be on November 9th. That's our next Creation Justice meeting, and it'll be David Alley from the Climate Justice Committee at Together Colorado. And Nancy apparently knows him or has worked with him, and she'll introduce him. Thank you for that. The October 23rd Highline Canal tree planting has had to be canceled because I didn't get us registered fast enough. By the time I waited for a handful of people to let me know from First Plymouth so that we could have a First Plymouth group. And I just have not had a very good response. There were 5 people who responded. And so I finally went to register us and they were already filled. And the only other one available is on October 30th. And no one has responded. Well, no one from the original group has responded to that. So I'm inclined to let it go for now. They're going to have more tree planting and trash cleanup through the Highline Canal Conservancy group starting in the spring. So I will put that on the list for us to see if we can connect to one of those in the spring. And then on October,
that would be a great thing to actually plan for April for, around the whole Earth, Earth Day.
Yeah. Yeah, we just have to think about it far enough in ahead to get signed up. Yes, Amy.
Well, I was just thinking, we have Sophia Hayden, who is now working with the youth, and
Yeah.
Amanda working with young adults. There are ministerial residents. I hope I get that right. I wonder if, given that amount of time, maybe they would like to partner with Creation Justice to have like a youth thing in April. And then, it could be multi-generational. I'm just thinking if we could come with an opportunity like that for somebody like Sophia, who's doing this and is also going to ILF, she'd be like, oh, wow, I can start thinking about planning for this. So
Great
just a
idea.
thought.
That's a great idea. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, I will get in touch with her on that. That's a great idea. But just last information, some of us in the Sacred Land class that Nancy taught had asked if we could have a tour at First Universalist Church to see some of their, all of their renovation that has allowed them to be a net zero facility. And in addition, Larry's group, our net zero task force, is interested in the same thing. So I think, Nancy, there are about 10 of us who are going to be attending that on the 29th?
Yes, it worked out numbers wise where the Sacred Land confirmations and the net zero confirmations. We've got 6 from Sacred Land and 6 or 7 from net zero, but you and Beth, Pam are 2 that cross over. So there'll be 10 total. It'll work out really good. That's kind of the cap that Milt and Hillary had set because of their COVID restrictions. They're just opening up.
Great. Okay, and that's all clear with you, Larry? That works okay for your group?
Yeah, Nancy and I have been back and forth in coordination, and I actually saw the tour that Milt gave. It was over 2 years ago. There was a conference going on there that they had sponsored, and so I went through that tour with Dal. I replaced Bruce because Bruce had to go somewhere at the last minute a couple of years ago, whatever it was. Anyway, but I would like to see the things that they've done in addition to where they were 2 years ago, because they weren't net zero 2 years ago. So I'd like to see the other things that they've done, or are they doing any, carbon buybacks, or, I just want to know everything that they're doing. So that would be great to see that. So, yeah.
You'll be in good hands with Milt. He is so generous with the information.
He is.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah, he's a really good guy and very knowledgeable especially about the things that they're doing at UU and how it's possible to do them there. So, yeah.
Great. Okay. All right, then on to new business, and maybe this first topic can wait. I just didn't want to lose what we had learned from the Environment Colorado presentation. We have it recorded in the minutes, and maybe we just need to wait and hear from Together Colorado in November, and then come back and decide, as Duncan was just saying today, it's probably helpful to these organizations to know where we want to focus. It's just such a huge area, whether we're going to do, electric vehicles or air quality or methane or regenerative agriculture. We need to, I think, make a decision on where we as a group want to focus, or maybe individuals want to focus on different ones. So is there anything we want to follow up on from Environment Colorado at this point? Probably not. We'll have a discussion about it after we hear from Together Colorado next November, or this next month. And then I just want to, I guess you're probably all aware that we've got 2 Creation Justice adult forums coming up.
Yeah, yay, Pam. Pam set both of these up. Thank you so much.
I'm excited about them. I'm really thrilled that the first one is this Sunday, and it'll be about community and impact investing. And Helen has left us now, but one of the presenters is her son, Craig Jonas, who is a member of First Plymouth Church, as are Helen and her husband, Dan. But Craig is a founder of an interesting holding company called Copiece. And he calls it a company that promotes impact investing. So, and then Tom Abood is from First Universalist Church, and he is the chair of their endowment fund committee. So he's had a lot of experience with investing, and he is totally invested from the stock market and does totally community investing. So they're both going to talk to us about how individuals and churches can create resources and opportunities to democratize the access to the equity game so that we can both earn money with our investment, but also do good in the community and support some groups that may not qualify for financing in other arenas. So that's this Sunday. And
it might
then
be interesting to contact Grover Wren with a sort of personal note about this CE presentation, because, you know, he spearheaded the SEG, what is it?
ESG.
Yeah.
ESG, yeah.
Yeah. And it would be really nice if not only just interested personal investors, but if some of our institutional money managers were, you know, had the time and the interest and wherewithal to attend this presentation.
I thought about that. I just didn't know. I didn't want to leave anybody out. Are there other people like who Harry has been in our church finances for a long time.
Yeah.
Harry,
that's why I think if we get it to Grover,
he'll
because I think he probably has the whole endowment committee. I mean, Terry's on the endowment committee. So is Beth Ertz, or she was, and the First Plymouth Foundation. Those are the two. And I don't even know if we have a finance committee anymore. But anyhow, I think Grover would be an ally in promoting this, but it's coming up this week. So it'd be something we would need to do probably today or tomorrow.
Okay, I will. Yeah, I'll
gonna do that. Okay.
Yep, I certainly will.
Thank you.
But related to this week's presentation, and it was a little further down on the agenda, I'm requesting that we provide with Creation Justice Funds a stipend for Tom Abood. Craig Jonas, this is going to be, I mean, it's his business. And so I've told him, you know, we don't want this to be a forum for him to invite clients. He's providing information, but I think it will be helpful to his business. Whereas Tom Abood is just doing this out of the goodness of his heart. I mean, he's giving us his time and expertise. And I would like to be able to offer him a stipend with the request that he uses it with the Green First Task Force at First Universalist. They have just done so much in the forefront of sustainability and setting an example and inviting us to workshops. And we used to pay, you know, Peter Sautel when he came to some of our workshops, and we gave Judy at Denver Urban Gardens a stipend when she did a forum. So I don't know, I'm suggesting anywhere between $100 and $200, not a huge amount, but we do have so much, we have quite a bit. And I just think it would be one way for us to support advocacy in our community.
Yep, so moved.
Would that be from the Green Fund, right?
No.
I think it would be from First Plymouth Church.
Oh,
I see. No, it would not come from. No, I think it would come from the Creation Justice Ministry.
Yeah, we've
okay.
got.
Yeah, okay.
The Creation
Okay.
Justice Fund.
Yeah. Oh, okay, that's what I meant. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Right.
Can we go to $200? Is that okay?
Sure, fine with
Okay.
me.
He has done so much research, and he put together an amazing presentation that was online Zoom. And he does so much, and he's so dedicated to this. I know for years and years, it seems like to have guest speakers was a gesture of kindness or something, but to me, it's really reached a point of a sign of respect to offer some kind of compensation. Just basic respect and dignity for people. So no hesitation about supporting that at all.
Great. Okay. And so we're not offering it to Craig, and I don't think we'll offer it to our next adult forum presenter, which is the Natural Funeral, because again, it's a business. And we've again asked them just to be, informative, but certainly they will create some clientele through their presentation. So that was on November 14th, and I haven't put anything in the updates yet, but they're going to be talking about water cremation, green burial, and now we are one of 2 states that allow composting of bodies once you die. And so they're going to talk to us about those processes as options. So we'll see.
It will be interesting to see how many people attend, because it's, I think it's interesting, but
Yeah.
it's kind of morbid. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, what else? That's all I had. Doesn't hurt if we wrap it up early for a change. And just one other thing is Beth Ertz asked if we would entertain having our meetings at a different time of the day. She wondered if we wanted to do late afternoon or evening. And I don't know if anybody else prefers that, or honestly.
I don't have a strong preference. So we've talked about changing it around to see if we can get more people to attend. So maybe it might be good to experiment with some different times, see how that works.
Yeah, I think late afternoon or evening would probably encourage more people to attend.
I would need to check with David to see about next month already, but I could check with him to see.
I would definitely prefer late afternoon over evening.
Me too.
Okay, all right, we can do that. Yeah, that's fine. We
By
can
late
try that.
afternoon, what do we mean? 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock? What do we mean?
Why don't you ask Beth? I mean, if there's a time in Beth's day that's like 3:30 or something that would work, I'd like to see it on sort of, I mean, 5 o'clock to me is not late afternoon. But it is to people, I think, who have real jobs. I don't have a real job anymore. What works for you, Amy?
I'd be one of the evening people. I can do it because I have flexibility, but I think for anybody working, late afternoon is really, even if it's late afternoon, it's hard. So it depends on who you want to do outreach to.
Well, maybe we should try evening meetings for a couple of months and see. I don't know.
Well, you have to do it after dinner then, right? I mean, we couldn't, 5 o'clock would be bad, right?
Yeah.
6, it would, we have to wait, we kind of like what, 6:30 or 7. Yeah, 7, yeah.
Well, where do we want to go for November? What do you suggest?
Well, I think, like you're saying, Jan, check with Beth to see if she's got a preference.
Right.
Maybe we'll do, I'd have to check with David. We're still going to stick to the second Tuesday.
Yes.
But I'd need to check with David to see if he has any limitations as far as when he's available. If he's available in the evening, we can just go right to evening, or maybe we need to do kind of a gradual, do something mid-afternoon a little bit later, and then try for an evening and see what kind of response we get.
Okay. Why don't we go for that in November? Let's go for a 4 o'clock in November, just keeping in mind that David,
it's a working day. Yeah.
It's his working day. It's probably not right to ask him to come to an evening meeting, although we're asking Amy to come to an evening meeting, or she's a worker. And Larry, you're all, I know a lot of you are, but okay, I will check in with Beth and see if 4 o'clock will work for November. And then maybe we'll try 7 o'clock starting in, maybe starting the first of the year. I don't know if we'll meet in December or not.
That
So
sounds
let
good.
me know what you find out from Beth before I
Okay.
talk with David.
Right, will do, will do. Okay, well, I have kind of a sweet prayer. Oh, something else? Yeah. Okay. I just have a kind of a sweet prayer that Nancy turned me onto this book called Earth Prayers from Around the World. And there's one in here about autumn that just would be a nice one to end on. O sacred season of autumn, be my teacher, for I wish to learn the virtue of contentment. As I gaze upon your full-colored beauty, I sense all about you and at homeness with your amber riches. You are the reason of retirement, of full barns and harvested fields. The cycle of growth has ceased, and the busy work of giving life is now completed. I sense in you no regrets. You've lived a full life. I live in a society that is ever restless, always eager for more mountains to climb, seeking happiness through more and more possessions. As a child of my culture, I am seldom truly at peace with what I have. Teach me to take stock of what I have given and received. May I know that it is enough, that my striving can cease in the abundance of God's grace. May I know the contentment that allows the totality of my energies to come to full flower. May I know that, like you, I am rich beyond measure. As you, O autumn, take pleasure in your great bounty, let me also take delight in the abundance of the simple things in life, which are the true source of joy. With the golden glow of peaceful contentment, may I truly appreciate this autumn day. Amen.
Amen.
Man, thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay,
Everyone.
thanks.
Thank you all for being here.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.